Life is not random. Every seed you plant, every thought you cultivate, and every action you take will return to you in kind. This is not philosophy, this is life's fundamental principle, the law of identical harvest. You cannot plant a mango seed and expect chilies. You cannot sow deception and expect trust. What you give is what you get, not because the universe rewards or punishes, but because it simply mirrors your own doing. Everything in existence follows a simple yet profound truth. The seed and the fruit are one. Whatever you plant, that is exactly what you will reap. There is no deviation, no exception. If you plant an apple seed, you will get an apple tree. If you plant a neem seed, you cannot expect a mango tree. This is not just a law of agriculture. It is the very fabric of life itself. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are all seeds, and the results that manifest in your life are nothing but the fruits of what you have sown. Many people go through life unconscious of what they are planting in the soil of their existence. They engage in negative thinking, selfish actions, and destructive habits, yet they expect joy, love, and success in return. This is like planting weeds and hoping for roses. Life does not function that way. It does not reward or punish, it simply mirrors. The nature of what you receive is identical to the nature of what you have given, whether you recognize it or not. Take a moment to observe the people around you. Some seem to attract positivity, abundance, and happiness wherever they go. Others seem to struggle endlessly, facing conflict after conflict. This is not mere coincidence. Those who radiate kindness and gratitude have over time cultivated these qualities within themselves. Their external reality is a reflection of their inner state. Similarly, those who constantly face obstacles may have unknowingly planted seeds of doubt, fear, or resentment. The fruit cannot be different from the seed. The law of identical harvest is not just about grand actions. It operates even in the subtlest of moments. If you harbor jealousy in your heart, it will shape your interactions, your decisions, and ultimately your reality. If you nurture a sense of peace, that peace will manifest in your relationships, your work, and your overall experience of life. The universe does not respond to mere wishes. It responds to the energy you consistently put out. This principle is evident in every aspect of nature. A river does not suddenly change direction without a cause. A tree does not bear bitter fruit if the seed was sweet. The same holds true for human life. If your actions are rooted in integrity, your life will reflect integrity. If they are rooted in deception, you may see temporary gains, but eventually deception will return to you. Just as a shadow faithfully follows the body, the fruits of your actions will inevitably follow you. Some people believe they can outsmart this law by manipulating circumstances, deceiving others, or finding shortcuts. But you cannot cheat life. You can pretend, you can disguise, you can even fool the whole world, but the seed remains true to its nature. If you plant dishonesty, dishonesty will come back in ways you never anticipated. If you plant patience and perseverance, even the toughest challenges will one day bear sweet results. This is why awareness is the key. If you truly understand that what you sow is what you will reap, you will naturally become mindful of every thought, every action, and every emotion you cultivate. You will no longer act out of impulse or unconscious habit. You will begin to choose your responses carefully, knowing that they are shaping the reality you will have to live in. When you become conscious of this, life is no longer a struggle. It becomes a garden that you tend with love and care. Once you recognize that the seed and the fruit are one, you will stop blaming fate, circumstances, or other people for your situation. You will take responsibility for what you plant in your mind, heart, and actions. And when you do that, life will no longer seem uncertain or unpredictable. It will simply become a mirror, reflecting the seeds you have sown. Life is not shaped by actions alone. It is the intention behind every action that determines the quality of what returns to us. Two people can perform the same deed, yet the outcomes they experience may be vastly different. Why? Because intention is the seed from which all actions grow. If the intention is pure, even a small effort can yield immense results. If the intention is selfish or deceitful, even the grandest action will eventually crumble under its own weight. Many people believe that their actions alone define their life, but that is not the whole truth. A person may give charity, but if their intention is to gain admiration rather than to genuinely help, the energy of that act is tainted. On the surface, they may appear generous, but internally they are feeding their ego. Over time, this intention shapes their reality, and instead of true fulfillment, they experience an emptiness that no amount of recognition can fill. The universe does not respond to what is visible. It responds to what is real within you. Intentions are subtle, yet they are immensely powerful. When your heart is in the right place, even the simplest action gains tremendous power. If a mother cooks a meal with love, the same food nourishes not just the body but the soul. If a worker puts care into his craft, the product carries a quality beyond its material worth. On the other hand, if a person does something half-heartedly or out of compulsion, the result is equally lifeless. The energy with which something is done is just as important as the act itself. Look at great leaders, teachers, and visionaries who have transformed the world. What set them apart was not just their actions, but the purity of their intent. They did not seek personal gain. They were driven by something greater than themselves. Their work was an offering, not a transaction. This is why their legacy continues to inspire generations. Their intention was aligned with a deeper truth, and when intention is pure, it moves mountains. The mind is constantly generating intentions, whether consciously or unconsciously. If you are unaware, you may act out of fear, greed, or insecurity without even realizing it. You may work hard, but if your intention is driven by comparison or a need for approval, no success will ever satisfy you. The moment you become conscious of your true intentions, you gain the ability to shape your life deliberately. This is why self-awareness is crucial. Before taking any action, pause for a moment and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is the energy behind this action? If the answer is rooted in fear, ego, or selfishness, reconsider. If it comes from a place of love, contribution, or growth, then even a small step will take you far. When you align your intentions with truth, your actions naturally find their right direction. You no longer struggle to force outcomes because life begins to flow effortlessly. You attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences, not by chasing them, but by becoming the kind of person who naturally invites them. This is not magic. This is simply how life works. If you wish to create a meaningful, fulfilling life, do not just focus on what you do, focus on why you do it. When the intent is pure, even a single drop of effort ripples across eternity. Every thought you think, every word you speak, and every action you take is like depositing a seed into the soil of life. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly investing, either in growth or in stagnation, in success or in failure, in joy or in suffering. Life does not discriminate. It simply nurtures whatever you plant. If you are conscious of your actions, you will plant seeds that bring abundance. If you are careless, you may unknowingly cultivate weeds that take over your life. Some people act as if their daily choices do not matter. They speak without awareness, act without thought, and react without control. Then, when life gives them results they do not desire, they wonder, why is this happening to me? But life is not punishing or rewarding. It is simply delivering the harvest of the seeds they have sown over time. Just as a farmer cannot neglect his crops and expect a rich yield, you cannot ignore your daily actions and expect a fulfilling life. Even the smallest actions accumulate over time. A person who spends just 10 minutes a day learning something new will, in a year, be far ahead of someone who wasted those same minutes scrolling mindlessly. A person who speaks a kind word every day will, over time, build relationships filled with love and trust. But the one who constantly indulges in negativity, gossip, or laziness is also making an investment, one that will lead to failure and regret. Whether you invest wisely or foolishly, the return is inevitable. This law applies not just to personal habits, but to the way we treat others as well. If you invest honesty in your relationships, you will receive trust. If you invest betrayal, you will receive isolation. If you invest hard work in your career, you will receive growth. If you invest shortcuts and deception, you may see temporary gains, but eventually everything will collapse. The universe does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to the energy of your consistent actions. Some people expect instant results. They plant a seed today and want fruit tomorrow, but no tree grows overnight. The key is patience and persistence. A wise investor does not check the stock market every second. They understand that real wealth is built over time. Similarly, a wise person does not get discouraged if their good actions do not bring immediate rewards. They know that every effort is being recorded, every step is leading somewhere, and when the time is right, the harvest will come. The beauty of this law is that it puts you in complete control. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of your future. The quality of your health, relationships, career, and peace of mind is shaped by the investments you are making today. If you want a different result, change what you invest. Life is not a lottery, it is a system. Those who understand this take responsibility for their actions, while those who do not spend their lives blaming fate. The question is not whether you are investing, because you are all the time. The question is, are you investing in what you truly want? If you do not like where you are today, do not complain, simply start making better investments. One mindful action, repeated consistently, has the power to transform everything. Whether you choose to invest in growth or stagnation, in wisdom or ignorance, in love or fear, that choice is yours. Remember, life will always give you what you invest in it. So what kind of returns are you preparing for? Life has an interesting way of giving us exactly what we focus on, whether we desire it or fear it. Have you noticed that the more you try to push something away, the more it seems to show up in your life? The more you try to avoid failure, the more it haunts you. The more you fear rejection, the more it follows you. This is not some mystical curse. It is simply the way the mind works. Whatever you resist, you give energy to, and whatever you give energy to, you invite into your reality. Imagine someone who is constantly afraid of making mistakes. They obsess over avoiding failure, overanalyze every decision, and hesitate at every step. But in doing so, they become more anxious, more unsure, and ironically, more prone to making mistakes. Their resistance to failure makes them more likely to experience it. Instead of flowing naturally, they create unnecessary friction within themselves, making success harder to attain. This applies to emotions as well. If you resist sadness, it lingers longer. If you suppress anger, it builds up inside you like a pressure cooker waiting to explode. If you deny fear, it tightens its grip on you. Emotions, like water, need to flow. The more you try to block them, the more powerful they become. But the moment you acknowledge them without resistance, they lose their control over you. People also experience this in relationships. If you constantly worry about someone leaving you, that insecurity can create tension and distance, pushing them away. If you resist change in a relationship, clinging to what was, you may end up suffocating its natural growth. Resistance creates struggle, while acceptance creates ease. When you let go of resistance, you allow life to unfold naturally, without unnecessary suffering. The same applies to physical pain. If you resist pain, whether it's a headache, an injury, or discomfort, it intensifies. The more you focus on how much you don't want it, the more unbearable it seems. But if you relax into it, accept it, and observe it without judgment, the pain often reduces in it. This is why meditation and mindfulness work, not because they eliminate pain, but because they remove the resistance to it. So, what is the way out of this trap? The answer is acceptance and redirection. Instead of fighting against what you don't want, shift your focus toward what you do want. If you don't want to fail, don't obsess over avoiding failure. Obsess over learning and growing. If you don't want sadness to control you, don't fight it. Allow yourself to feel it, understand it, and then gently shift toward joy. The moment you stop resisting, you free up energy to create something new. Look at the lives of those who live with ease. They don't carry unnecessary resistance. They don't fear failure, so they move forward boldly. They don't suppress emotions, so they remain emotionally free. They don't cling to relationships, so their connections are deep and effortless. This is not because life treats them differently, it is because they understand the secret. Resistance is what creates suffering, not the situation itself. The next time you find yourself struggling against something, pause and ask yourself, am I resisting this? Am I giving it more power by fighting it? If so, try letting go, even just for a moment. When you stop fighting, you might find that what you feared was never as powerful as you imagined. When you let go of resistance, life flows, and in that flow you find true freedom. One of the greatest frustrations people face in life is the waiting, the gap between effort and result, between sowing and reaping. In a world of instant gratification, we expect immediate rewards for our actions. We plant a seed today and want fruit tomorrow, but life does not work that way. Just as a tree takes time to bear fruit, every action, every effort, and every investment in growth requires patience. This is the law of the harvest. There is always a delay between sowing and reaping. Many people lose faith because they do not see immediate results. They start something new, whether it's a career, a relationship, or a personal goal, and when progress seems slow, they feel discouraged. But if a farmer digs up his seed every day to check if it is growing, he will only disrupt the process. The soil is doing its work even when nothing is visible on the surface. Similarly, the work you put in, your efforts, your discipline, your learning, is shaping your future, even if you cannot see the results yet. Nature teaches us patience. A mango tree takes years to bear fruit. A child takes 9 months to be born. Even the sun, which seems to rise instantly every morning, took billions of years to form. Everything meaningful in life requires time to mature. The delay of the harvest is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that things are taking root properly. If success came instantly, it would have no depth, no foundation, and it would not last. The real test in life is what you do during the waiting period. Do you give up when results are slow? Do you start doubting yourself? Or do you continue nurturing your efforts with faith? Many people quit just before their harvest is ready. They walk away from relationships that needed a little more understanding. They abandon careers that were about to take off. They stopped working on themselves just when they were on the verge of transformation, not because they were incapable, but because they could not endure the delay. Understanding this law can change your life. Once you realize that every effort is accumulating, that nothing is wasted, you stop being impatient. You stop expecting overnight miracles and start focusing on consistent, conscious action. You stop looking for shortcuts and start trusting the process. Every great success story is not built on luck, but on years of unseen effort, perseverance, and resilience. The results may come suddenly, but the foundation was laid over time. Another reason people struggle with the delay of the harvest is that they do not always connect their past efforts with their present reality. Sometimes, what you are receiving today is the result of seeds you planted years ago, good or bad. If you are experiencing hardships, it may not be because of what you did yesterday, but because of patterns built over time. If you are enjoying success, it is not an accident, but a return on past investments. The wise do not get too excited about temporary setbacks or too impatient for rewards. They understand that life is always responding in its own time. The question then is not whether your harvest will come, it will. The question is whether you will stay committed long enough to receive it. Will you keep watering your dreams even when there is no visible growth? Will you continue working on yourself even when progress is slow? Will you trust that every effort, every discipline, every right choice is moving you closer to something meaningful? If you truly understand the delay of the harvest, you will no longer feel frustrated when results take time. Instead, you will feel at peace, knowing that what is yours is on its way. You will no longer rush, compare, or doubt. You will simply keep sowing, keep nurturing, and keep growing, because the harvest is certain. A seed has the potential to become a mighty tree, but whether it thrives or withers depends on the soil in which it is planted. Even the best seed cannot grow in barren land. Similarly, every human being carries within them immense potential, but whether that potential flourishes or fades depends largely on the environment they choose to be in. The surroundings we immerse ourselves in, physically, mentally, and emotionally, shape the direction of our growth. Look at nature. A plant placed in rich, fertile soil with adequate sunlight and water will grow strong and bear fruit. But if the same plant is placed in toxic, dry land with no nourishment, it will struggle, no matter how much potential it had within. The same principle applies to human life. If you are surrounded by negativity, limited thinking, and people who drain your energy, your growth will be stunted. But if you place yourself in an environment that nurtures you, challenges you, and encourages you, your potential will naturally unfold. Many people remain stuck in unhelpful environments, believing that they can somehow thrive despite them. They surround themselves with negativity and wonder why their mind is filled with doubt. They consume toxic content and wonder why their energy feels low. They engage in meaningless conversations and wonder why their motivation fades. Growth is not just about internal effort. It is also about external alignment. You cannot plant yourself in unhealthy surroundings and expect to flourish. This is why the people you associate with matter. If you spend time with those who uplift you, challenge your thinking, and push you toward growth, you will naturally expand. But if you are constantly around those who complain, gossip, and resist change, their energy will influence you more than you realize. Growth is not just about what you do, it is also about what you allow into your space. Choose wisely. Your mental environment is just as important as your physical one. The thoughts you entertain, the books you read, the conversations you engage in, all of these shape your mental landscape. If you continuously expose yourself to empowering ideas, deep wisdom, and new learning, your mind will develop in that direction. But if you feed it with fear, doubt, and distractions, you will struggle to find clarity. Just as a plant needs the right nutrients, your mind needs the right input to grow strong. Even your emotional environment plays a significant role. If you constantly put yourself in situations that drain your energy, your spirit will feel depleted. If you engage in conflicts, unnecessary drama, or hold on to resentment, it will block your growth. But when you choose environments that bring peace, inspiration, and joy, your inner world transforms. Emotional well-being is not just about avoiding negativity, it is about actively creating a space that supports your highest self. The beauty of this law is that you have the power to change your environment. You are not a tree. You are not rooted in one place forever. You can choose to step away from what no longer serves you. You can decide to surround yourself with growth-minded individuals. You can curate what enters your mind, what influences your emotions, and what shapes your daily life. The moment you take responsibility for your environment, your growth will accelerate effortlessly. So ask yourself, is my current environment helping me grow or holding me back? If it is not supporting your highest potential, it may be time to make a shift. Because just like a seed in fertile soil, when you place yourself in the right environment, growth becomes not just possible, but inevitable. The soil does not care about your excuses, your intentions, or your desires. It only responds to what you plant in it. If you sow wheat, you will get wheat. If you sow thorns, you will get thorns. The soil is not emotional, it is simply a mirror of your actions. Life works the same way. You cannot deceive it, manipulate it, or find shortcuts. Whatever you put in through your thoughts, words, and actions will eventually come back to you. Many people try to cheat the system. They want success without effort, respect without integrity, and rewards without contribution. They think they can outsmart the natural order by cutting corners, pretending to work, or fooling others. But in the end, you cannot cheat the soil. You may temporarily hide your lack of effort, but life will always reveal the truth. Just like a farmer cannot plant weeds and expect rice, you cannot engage in dishonesty and expect genuine success. Look at nature. There are no shortcuts. A tree does not grow overnight. A river does not carve through mountains in a day. The sun does not skip a day of rising. Everything in existence follows a rhythm, a discipline, a law. If you try to rush the process, you only damage your own growth. The soil gives back exactly what you put into it, no more, no less. If you have not sown, you cannot reap. And if you have sown wisely, your harvest is inevitable. People often get frustrated when they see others seemingly getting ahead by deception. But remember, cheating the soil only gives the illusion of success. It never lasts. A person who manipulates others to rise in their career may enjoy temporary benefits, but eventually their foundation will collapse. A relationship built on lies will eventually break down. A business that operates dishonestly will crumble when the truth surfaces. The soil of life is patient, but it never forgets. At the same time, this law is liberating because it means you are in full control of your future. If you are not where you want to be, it is not because life is unfair, it is because you need to plant better seeds. Every small action, every bit of effort, every decision is a seed being sown. The more disciplined, focused, and honest you are in your actions, the greater your harvest will be. No effort is wasted. The soil records everything. Some people think they can bypass this process through luck or by taking what others have built. But even if you take someone else's harvest, if you have not learned how to plant and cultivate your own, you will soon find yourself empty-handed again. True success in any area of life comes from understanding and respecting the process. You must work, you must be patient, and you must trust that what you invest will return in time. So the real question is, what are you planting? Are your daily habits aligned with the future you want? Are your actions leading to long-term success or short-term pleasure? The soil does not care about your wishes. It only cares about your work. If you want a better harvest, start planting better seeds today. Because no matter how hard you try, you cannot cheat the soil. It will always give you exactly what you have earned. Nothing more, nothing less. Every thought, every word, and every action is a seed planted into the soil of life. Whether you realize it or not, you are always sowing. Every moment, every interaction, every decision is shaping your future. The question is not whether you are planting, but what you are planting. If you are unconscious of your actions, you may be sowing weeds without realizing it. But if you become aware, if you become intentional, you can plant the seeds of success, joy, and fulfillment. Many people live in a state of unawareness. They speak carelessly, act impulsively, and allow negativity to dominate their minds. Then, when life gives them unwanted results, they wonder why things are not working out. But life is not unfair. It is simply delivering what was sown. If you constantly complain, you are sowing seeds of dissatisfaction. If you speak harshly, you are sowing discord in your relationships. If you procrastinate, you are planting the roots of failure. Being unconscious of what you sow does not exempt you from the harvest. It only ensures that the harvest will be random and chaotic. But when you live consciously, everything changes. You start choosing your words wisely, knowing they have power. You start acting with intention, understanding that each action carries consequences. You start shaping your thoughts, realizing they create your reality. A farmer does not scatter seeds carelessly and hope for a good crop. He selects them carefully, knowing that the quality of the seed determines the harvest. Your life is no different. This awareness extends beyond actions. It includes emotions and energies. If you constantly dwell in fear, you are nurturing a fearful reality. If you hold on to anger, you are feeding future conflicts. If you spread kindness, you are sowing a life filled with love and support. The energy you put into the world is never lost. It finds a way to return to you. Just as a tree bears fruit of its own kind, your life will reflect the nature of the seeds you have planted over time. Some people think small actions do not matter, but every great harvest starts with a single seed. A small act of discipline, repeated daily, can build an extraordinary life. A single act of kindness can create ripples of goodwill that return in unexpected ways. Even a small habit of negativity, if ignored, can grow into something that takes over your life. The seeds you plant today may seem insignificant, but with time they shape everything. The key is to be deliberate. Every day ask yourself, what am I sowing right now? Are my thoughts aligned with the future I want? Are my actions leading to a harvest I will be proud of? Are my words building or destroying? If you do not like where your life is going, do not blame the weather. Change the seeds you are planting. Being conscious of what you sow does not mean you will always get instant results. Some seeds take longer to grow, some require more nurturing, and some may seem invisible for a time, but trust the process. Just as nature never fails to produce according to what was planted, life will never fail to return the results of what you invest in it. So, plant wisely, speak with kindness, act with integrity, think with clarity, and move with purpose. Because whatever you sow, whether in thought, word, or action, life will always return it to you multiplied. In the grand design of life, nothing happens by chance. Every moment you are planting seeds through your thoughts, your actions, and the energy you put into the world. Whether you are conscious of it or not, life is keeping track. The soil does not play favorites. It simply gives back what you put into it. The only question is, are you sowing wisely? If you want a life filled with success, peace, and fulfillment, you must plant the seeds of discipline, positivity, and conscious action. If you desire strong relationships, you must sow kindness, honesty, and understanding. If you seek wisdom, you must nurture curiosity and continuous learning. There is no shortcut, no deception, and no way to cheat this process. But here is the beauty of it all. The harvest is certain. The work you put in today will not be in vain. Even if you do not see immediate results, trust that the seeds you have sown are taking root. Keep watering them with patience, nurture them with faith, and give them time to grow. One day, when the season is right, you will look around and see the fruits of your efforts. You will realize that nothing was wasted, that every step mattered, and that life was always responding to you. Until then, sow with awareness, cultivate with care, and trust the law of the harvest, because what you plant today will shape your tomorrow.